What up, UFC T-Dot breakdowns? We're here for the main card of UFC on ESPN, Vera versus Cruz. Start the main card off, we have Bruno Silva versus Gerald Meerschaert. Gerald Meerschaert, man, that dude is so dangerous. Like, Bruno was beating him, man. Meerschaert was trying to fall down, trying to get takedowns that they weren't even good takedowns. He just wasn't really able to get them. And at some point, man, he caught him with a left hook, and Silva went down like on a knee almost, and Meerschaert just jumped on a guillotine and got him right there, submission guillotine. Next up, we have Priscilla Cachoeira versus Ariana Lipski. This is a fight against the Queen of Violence and the Zombie Girl. That Cachoeira, they say like, oh, she used to be a drug addict, and like she just doesn't feel the pain. Like in her fight, she just walks through everything. And this one didn't last long. For about 1 minute, they pretended that they were boxers in a Rocky-produced, a Rocky movie. Like no one blocked, no one defended, no head movement. They just punched each other in the head until one of them fell down. And then Cachoeira jumped on top of Lipski to KO her, round one. Amanda Nunes was in her corner. This is another fight. Amanda Nunes was in the corner, I think, for Cachoeira, not Lipski. I'm not sure whose corner she was in, actually, but she was in the corner again. Next up, we had Devin Clark versus Azamat Murzakanov. Before the fight, Devin Clark said, Azamat doesn't know how to lose. And I just thought, wow, why would you say that about your opponent? Sounds like you are gonna go lose to him. That's what that sounds like to me. The first two punches that Azamat landed sent Clark literally running away. Like every time he hit him, almost he ran away. It's crazy. Like Clark. All right, so at some point Clark threw this weird mule kick, like he hit him, and Clark turned his back to him, and then like just kicked straight back, like it's imagine my foot. I don't think Clark wants to fight anymore. I don't know why he's still fighting. He's literally, I take that back. Alistair Overeem fought like that for years, like still winning. So he just don't like getting punched in the face. Friggin' Clark's dad is just out there. Yeah, he's so loud. He's louder than the whole stadium. They're not in the Apex Center. They in a real stadium in San Diego. It's a lot of people there, thousands of people there. Clark's dad is the loudest man in the arena. It's funny, man. You can hear him over the whole crowd. There were USA chants. Clark landed a big head kick flush, and Azamat just like kind of fell into the clinch after that. Like he didn't seem on it. He was hurt, but he didn't seem. He kind of just ate that head kick. And like Clark's legs are humongous, so you can imagine that leg kick hurt. Supposedly he's trying to squat 1,000 pounds. Yeah, and I mean like the Azamat started timing Clark so good where he was just landing his left counter 1,000,000 times in a row, and every time he would land it, Clark would just turn his back to him like, I don't, not letting you hit me again, not with those fists. And then he started throwing body shots, like the same left, but to the body. It was like a guided missile. It was like he couldn't miss that thing, man. Like, I think Clark literally had his back to the dude as much as he had his front to him during his fight. Like, not just in grappling and clinching. Standing up on the feet, he had his back to him as much as he had his front to him. Like, he was running, falling down, like... and in the past, he had like his teeth knocked out in the fight. He had both his orbital bones broken, I believe. And so, I understand why he don't want to get punched. Why are you still fighting people? All right, I think he traumatized, man. I think that dude is traumatized. So at the end, like right before, first of all, can't believe we made it to round 3 in this fight after Derek Lewis fell, and that was the end. Like when we get to round 3, his dad is outside the ring yelling, "You gotta fucking fight! You gotta fucking fight!" And the corner is just like, calm down, because no one can hear anything but him. He's so loud. All right, I can't believe it was around 3 of this fight. He threw, Azamat threw this like kind of sacrifice jab to this big left body shot. It was like an upper hook that dropped Clark, and he almost immediately turned his back and covered up. And then Azamat TKO'd him there in round 3. Yasmin Hawaguri versus Yasmin Lucindo. This is a fight of the strongest Yasmin will survive. They're both very young. One's 20, one's 23. This is literally both of their UFC debuts. They're both highly touted. Why would you force one of these two amazing new recruits to get a loss? Why would you do that, UFC? Why? Lucindo is the youngest active fighter She's 20 years old. She was born in 2002. Bisping is really high on Hawagiri. Her name is spelled like Jaguari, but that's not how you say it. Hawagiri. She has a really intense look about her. Like, you could tell she's there to fucking fight. Like, she has a really, like, almost Robbie Lawler kind of intensity about her. I like it. She's really slick at boxing. Like, her stance, she reminds me of GSP a little bit, just the way she stands. She's really good at boxing. It's crazy because the fight basically consisted of Hawagiri very technically fighting from distance, hitting, moving, and then every once in a while she'd stay in the pocket too long and it would just be this crazy firefight until she stepped back. Usually when Lucindo caught her with a big ass left hand. And at some point her corner told her to stop doing that, and she stopped doing it. Like, good on her. She's really good. Lucindo definitely hits hard, like way harder than Hawagiri, but Hawagiri looked faster and more technical, and like just her punches were straighter, they were snapping, whereas Lucindo's were all big massive bombs, you know what I mean? She has a very slick left counter that she would like wait until they were in the moment to land, which I think is why she was waiting around getting caught sometimes, because she never threw it until they were in the scramble. It'd be like punch, 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 left hook counters, like that left hook would come out of nowhere and it would stop Lucindo a little bit. And then Bisping's commentary is so good, man. Like, he's like Tony Romo in the NFL. Like, he just tells you, oh, this boxer should do this, and then he should do this, and if he does this, he can get up to this, and you'll just see him do it. Like, doop, 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 doop. Like, his commentary is superb, Michael Bisping. He was like, you know, Hawagiri isn't using the left head kick, and it would be a good attack to use. And then, like, 1 second later, she threw up a left head kick, and then was using that for the rest of the fight. It was like, and she couldn't hear him. This is not the Apex Center, right? This is just like something they trained that she just wasn't doing. And then Bisping brought it up that she should be using that, and then she started using it. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. The fight, the crowd, you know, they're in San Diego, so a super pro-Mexican crowd. Hawagiri is a Mexican fighter, so there were chants, Mexico chants, and at some point they were chanting ole, 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 and I'm kind of like, well, that must be for the Brazilian fighter, but also it could be for the Mexican fighter. I don't know. I think the crowd was just happy. They was like, we got fights. Hawagiri also had some really sneaky elbows. She landed twice, like right at the beginning of clinches. Like, well, one was in the middle of the clinch, but just like they'd be in the clinch and it would look like they tied up, and just out of nowhere you'd just bah! And it would be like good elbows, like sturdy elbows. They weren't like little in the clinch elbows. They were like, I really like the Hawagiri. She's fun to watch. Like, I mean, they're both fun to watch. They're both very dangerous fighters, but the Hawagiri, she's like, the way that she fights is fun. She's technically sound. She's sharp. She's quick, and she's a really good boxer. I'm really looking forward to seeing what both of these ladies do. Yeah, it was crazy. The whole fight was crazy. I feel like this was the fight of the night, but I'm sure they're going to give it to the one that was the most theatrical. But I feel like this was the fight of the night. Yeah, you guys are lucky, because I really considered doing this entire part of this and just like this. So this is the battle of the greatest Yasmin. Yasmin is the youngest active fighter born. She's 20 years old, born in 2002. The other Yasmin is only 23. It's both of these Yasmin's debut. And Bisping really likes Yasmin. So Yasmin has a really intense look about her. Yasmin has slick boxing. There were crazy moments. And like, Yasmin's a harder hitter, but Yasmin looks faster. They both named Yasmin. Oh, and in case you didn't know, Mackenzie Dern was there. Next up, we had the co-main event. It was Nate Landwehr versus David Onama. This fight, I'm sure it won fight of the night. I haven't even looked at it. I'm sure it won fight of the night. It was the one the fans loved the most. But like, it wasn't that good of a fight in my opinion. First off, it was a war. There was a lot of knockdowns, elbows and knees, grappling, fun first round. But after that first round, like, Onama seemed gassed for the rest of the fight. So Landwehr just bullied him for the rest of the fight. Like, that's kind of what I didn't like about it. It seems like he could have put him away at any moment, and instead he just toyed with him and just beat on him for 10 minutes. And that's fine. I just, you know, that Nate Landwehr, like, that dude seems mean to me. That shit's mean. He was trying to get subs over and over again, but he wasn't getting it just seemed like he wanted to hurt him, man. And he was just throwing like elbows and knees, but not hard enough to like knock him out, but hard enough to just hurt him. and he just was just beating on him and there was times where he could have went for the finish and he just decided not to. And there were times where Onama would go down and he would just turn his back away and go to the crowd like this. And then at some point at the end of the third round, Onama kind of got a second wind. And he started taunting a little bit too and landing big punches. And it was it was a fun, entertaining fight for sure. It was very interesting. Literally at the end when Onama knocked down Nate Landwehr, like he was so out of it after the bell rung, he took a swing at Mike Beltran, the referee, like not realizing it was Mike Beltran because he was messed up at the very end as he kept playing with him instead of just putting him down. Anyways, I'm sure that won fight of the night because it was a spectacle. But the fight of the night was Yasmin versus Yasmin. You can't tell me nothing. Landwehr won by majority decision. One of the judges had it 28-28, which is strange to me because there was this very competitive first round, and then one guy just beat another dude up for 10 minutes on TV, and they went, that looks even to me. Whatever. I'm not a judge. So for the main event, we got Marlon Cheeto Vera versus Dominic Cruz. It's crazy to me. Like Dominic Cruz lost like 6 years of his prime due to injury. When he started getting hurt and was hurt for 4 years, came back, got hurt again for 2 years, like he literally was considered the greatest bantamweight of all time. He was the champ. No one could beat him. He beat every fighter at American Top Team because Uriah Faber retired and he couldn't get it done anymore. Like he beat all Uriah Faber's, like anybody Uriah Faber was like, this is the next guy. Dominic was like, that's who I'm gonna kill next. Dominic is an amazing fighter. He's a prototype. Like the problem is the guys he's fighting now grew up watching him fight. But when he first came out with that crazy footwork and then just unlimited pace and stamina, great wrestling, and he don't wrestle with power. He wrestles like a weasel. Like I don't mean that in a negative. I mean like the actual animal. Like his spine is real. Like when he gets takedown, he'll get a double leg, but there's no bow. It's just like whoosh, you're on the ground. It's real slick. It's like water. Dominic Cruz is one of my favorite fighters of all time. I really like Dominic Cruz. He looked good in this fight. The problem was Cheeto is made out of wood, like Davison Figueroa, it seems like. Dominic must have hit him 4,000 times, and Cheeto must have hit Dominic 8 times, had 4 knockdowns. Like, it seemed like Dominic would be dancing around, doing his thing, and then Cheeto would go for the leg kick, and he would just miss because Dominic would be doing pirouettes, and then Dominic would just throw like 19 punches that would all land, and then Cheeto would just go, no. And Dominic would be on the ground, like, over and over again. That was the whole fight right there. It's crazy, man. Like, no. I'm telling you, man, every time Cheeto hit Dominic, I just heard an Ecuadorian accent, no. His left hand, man. Cheeto's left hand. Dominic oftentimes will dip off to his right and then sidestep around you to begin striking to avoid a punch. And Cheeto knew it. He threw it once and missed it. He threw it this time and it landed. He thought it was like a sacrificial right just to get Dominic ducking off to the right. And as soon as Dominic ducks, left high kick. And he's from the southpaw stance. I mean, he broke Dominic's nose. He flattened his face. You could see it before he even fell. Then he fell face flat on the ground. I mean, Dominic got up leaking blood. I mean, you could see it. He was out of it. I mean, it was a crazy hard head kick. I think Cheeto Vera might be who he said he is. Also, before we get off here, I do have to mention one more thing. Spell my name. Mackenzie Durden was there. Alright, y'all, that's about it. If you're still here, thanks for listening. I appreciate you. I love you. Like, subscribe, follow, all that good shit. And yeah, that's it. Bye.